Midnight, August 1947. India celebrates its long-awaited independence, but beneath the jubilation, a crucial number, India's population stands at about 345 million. Across the Himalayas, China's population is even larger, about 540 million. A 200 million head start for China, an enormous gap that will shape the destinies of both nations. This starting line sets the stage for a dramatic demographic race, one that will unfold over the coming decades. The 1950s and 60s, a period marked by remarkable transformation. In both India and China, birth rates soar above 40 per thousand, driving explosive population growth. Yet India's story takes a distinctive turn. Medical breakthroughs sweep across the nation, slashing death rates more swiftly than in China. The result, more children surviving into adulthood, families growing larger than ever before. Meanwhile, the Green Revolution arrives, revolutionizing agriculture and ensuring improved nutrition for millions. The impact is profound. India's population swells to 550 million by the late 1960s. China too continues to grow, reaching 650 million. The once daunting gap between the two giants narrows, setting the stage for new challenges and opportunities on the horizon. The 1970s usher in a seismic shift, one that would forever alter the population trajectories of the world's two most populous nations. As the decade draws to a close, China unveils a bold experiment in social engineering, the one-child policy. Introduced in 1979, it's a move both drastic and uncompromising. Through strict government mandates, urban families are urged, sometimes coerced, to have just one child. The state's iron grip leaves little room for choice, and the effects ripple through every level of society. Meanwhile, India attempts its own population control measures, but along a vastly different path. During the emergency of 1975-77, mass sterilization campaigns are launched in an effort to curb birth rates. Yet unlike China, India's democratic fabric proves resistant. Widespread public outrage erupts, and the policy is swiftly abandoned. The episode leaves deep scars, sowing distrust and shaping future approaches. This divergence in policy reflects more than just numbers. It's a tale of two political systems, China's authoritarian resolve pitted against India's messy, vibrant democracy. The consequences of these choices will echo for generations, setting each nation on a path uniquely its own. The 1980s and 1990s bring a quiet but profound transformation. In China, the one-child policy begins to bite. The once booming population growth grinds to a near halt. Across the vast urban landscapes, families shrink, and a single child becomes the norm. The government's social experiment is working, at least in terms of numbers. Yet beneath the surface, new challenges are brewing: an aging society, a gender imbalance, and the first hints of a looming demographic crisis. Meanwhile, India follows a very different rhythm. With no nationwide restrictions on family size, birth rates remain high. The streets of Delhi, Mumbai, and countless rural villages echo with the energy of children. Here, cultural values still favor larger families, and the idea of limiting births meets with little enthusiasm. India's population continues its steady climb, propelled by youthful optimism and economic aspirations. This divergence sets the stage for a historic crossover. As China's growth slows dramatically, India's momentum builds. The two giants, once locked in a race, are now preparing to trade places. The choices made in these decades will shape not just the fate of these nations, but the world itself. The dawn of the 21st century marks a momentous milestone. By the mid-2000s, both China and India crossed the staggering threshold of 1 billion people, a number almost unimaginable just a few generations earlier. Yet beneath this headline, the stories of the two nations are diverging more than ever. China, having reaped the demographic dividend of its earlier boom, now faces an unexpected challenge. Its population is aging rapidly. City streets, once filled with the laughter of children, now see more grey hair and walking sticks. The echoes of the one-child policy linger, shaping a society where grandparents outnumber grandchildren and the workforce begins to shrink. In contrast, India remains vibrant and youthful. Its population pyramid is broad at the base, with millions of young people stepping into adulthood every year. The energy is palpable. from the crowded local trains of Mumbai to the bustling tech hubs in Bengaluru. India's growth rate, still outpacing China's, signals a shift in global dynamics. By the close of the 2010s, the world watches as India edges ever closer to overtaking China as the planet's most populous country. The numbers tell one story, but the faces behind them, young and old, hopeful and wise, hint at a new era for both nations. The overtaking is not just about population. It's about the changing heartbeat of Asia and the promise and challenge of the decades to come. And then, in 2023, history is rewritten. The world wakes up to a new reality. India has officially surpassed China to become the most populous country on Earth. The numbers are staggering. India, with around 1.43 billion people, edges ahead of China's 1.41 billion. But the significance runs far deeper than mere statistics. For the first time in centuries, the demographic center of gravity has shifted. In China, the population curve bends downward for the first time in modern history. Years of strict family planning, urbanization, and an aging society converge, causing the once surging numbers to begin their slow retreat. Meanwhile, India's ascent is fueled by a unique blend of factors. Democratic policies encourage diversity and debate, while a cultural preference for larger families keeps the population pyramid broad and strong. India's adoption of family planning arrives later and less uniformly, and its youthful demographic structure ensures a steady stream of new faces and fresh energy. Deep-rooted religious and cultural traditions also play their part, weaving a complex tapestry that shapes family life and growth. This is more than a population milestone. It's a seismic shift in the geopolitical landscape. The world's gaze turns to India. Its crowded cities, its vibrant villages, its restless, ambitious youth. Questions arise. What does this mean for the global economy, for innovation, for the balance of power in Asia and beyond? Amidst the headlines and the numbers, it's the stories of individuals, the students, the workers, the dreamers, that truly capture the moment. India's rise is not just a statistic, it's a new chapter in the story of humanity, one that will echo across continents and generations. As the sun rises over the skylines of Mumbai and Shanghai, a new era begins. India stands at the threshold of opportunity, its youthful population brimming with potential. The question on everyone's mind: can this demographic dividend translate into prosperity, innovation, and global influence? Across the border, China faces a different challenge: an aging society and a shrinking workforce. Yet, with decades of experience in rapid transformation, China is not without its own strengths, technological prowess, disciplined urban planning, and a resilient economy. Both nations are now confronted by a shared set of challenges: rapid urbanization, the urgent need for sustainable development, job creation for millions, and the looming threat of climate change. Animated infographics illustrate diverging population trends. India's pyramid remains broad at the base, while China's narrows towards the top, reflecting its graying society. Scenes of young Indian entrepreneurs developing new technologies are juxtaposed with Chinese engineers pioneering solutions for an aging population. The future is uncertain, but it is also filled with promise. The choices made by leaders, communities, and individuals today will ripple far beyond their borders. Will India seize the moment to become an economic powerhouse, or will it struggle under the weight of its own numbers? Can China adapt its society and economy, turning challenge into opportunity? As the globe spins and a hopeful sunrise washes over Asia, one thing is clear: the story of India and China is entering its most critical chapter yet. It is no longer a race of numbers, but a contest of ideas, resilience, and vision. A story that will shape not only their destinies, but the future of the world itself.